Good to see you all again. I'm sat here, I'm Nick Powell, I'm Political Editor Review Reporter. I'm here with Dick Roach, the former Irish Minister for Europe. We're here in the European Parliament for the results as they come in. Not really results yet, of course, Dick, but turnout. But we've just had some very interesting projection of how the votes are going to split in Germany, where it looks as if the Social Democrats, Chancellor Scholz's party, are going to finish third.
Yeah, that's quite a surprise. I mean, of the 6 or 7 to watch, Germany is obviously one. But if Scholz is doing that badly, it could be very interesting. On the other hand, the EPP are doing, the EPP aligned parliaments, CDU-CSU, are doing very well, and AfD is not doing quite as badly as some people thought it was going to do. But the figure for the Social Democrats looks very bad. It's only a projection figure, so it may well not be true. But I mean, we'll have France and we'll have Germany very shortly. If we have France again, and what we'll be looking for there is what's going to happen to Le Pen and her party, and of course, by definition, what will happen to Macron. And it looks as if there will be surprises there. Italy, there's no doubt about it, Meloni is going to do very well. I think she has surprised everybody since she came to power, and she will be a real power broker. Spain, I'm not expecting anything really exciting there. I'm interested in Poland. Poland is going to be an interesting tussle because between the PIS and between Donald Tusk, it'll be be interesting result. And then there's Romania, and then, well, we have preliminary figures for Netherlands, where S&D and the Greens are saying that between them they have managed to hold off Wilders, but they actually have 8 seats between them, and Wilders' party will have 7. And so 2 at 8 versus 1 at 7. It's hardly what you call an overwhelming victory. So it's going to be a very interesting evening. There's no doubt about it.
It's possibly worth talking about Germany a bit more, because they have 96 seats, of course, more seats than any other country. And as you say, the far-right party, the Alternative for Deutschland, the AfD, they seem to be coming second on the basis of the initial projection. So quite a good result for them, even though their leading candidate actually had to stop campaigning because of some of the things he'd said. Maybe the speculation that, at least in some countries, it's going to be a good night for the far right is going to be proved right.
Yeah, I hate this label far right, because of course most of these parties, they're catch-all, and there's a lot of differences in it, and not everybody necessarily aligns with the same views. Certainly they've had some astonishing things happen. First of all, you mentioned Max Kra and his interview. I didn't see the interview, but the roof seems to have come in at that stage. But even before that, you had his offices here in the Parliament being invaded or being turned over by the police. His assistant being cautioned or being taken in under arrest. So it was about as bad a lead-in to an election as you could have. And yet, if those figures turn out to be true, it's not quite the disaster that a lot of people thought. I mean, at one stage they were something over 18%. The latest tallies would suggest that the latest predictions around 16.5. It's not a huge drop given the background, or given it's a very turbulent 6 weeks that they've had. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, perhaps slightly less of a surprise was the initial projection from Austria, which has the Freedom Party, again generally glossed as far right, in the lead, although actually not that far ahead of the more traditional Christian Democrat and Social Democrat parties, who are neck and neck. And of course, I suppose we should remember that, this is the party, the Freedom Party, the so-called far-right party. It's been in government before now. It's provided Austria's chancellor before now. So they are part of the political mainstream, however they're painted by the rest of us.
Well, that's true. Yeah. One of the problems that's coming out of all this labelling that's going on at the moment it's a very lazy way because you don't have to do a lot of analysis. Just stick a label on somebody and they're that, so then you can dismiss it. Instead of having a look at what is it that attracts voters to this or that party. And it can be for a whole variety of reasons, not all necessarily sinister. I actually believe that there is a lot of disenchantment in parts of Europe where, for example, you would have a cohesive agricultural vote.
Yes.
People feel that they're being dismissed. And again, it's part of this, the need to engage with the public. So it's going to be very, I mean, if those figures that we're seeing there, if those figures come up, I think it will be very intriguing the next few hours.
Yes, I mean, to talk about one country for a moment that we haven't had anything from yet, but Hungary, I mean, there we have a party, again, sometimes glossed far right, Fidesz, it's been in power for a long time now, actually slightly defies definition. I mean, illiberal democracy is what Viktor Orban tells us they believe in, but they're challenged by a new catch-all alliance.
It's a breakaway.
A breakaway, yeah.
But again, it goes to this point that I was making. It is the catch-all party.
Yeah.
It is. The leadership is defining itself as being not Orban, and then actually saying that here we have this variety of
I mean, yeah, indeed.
It's going to be, the Hungary vote is going to be very interesting because actually Hungary has been really looking at turnout in Hungary. The last time there was about 44, just under 44% there, which is the highest vote ever in a European election in Hungary. So again, it's going to be very interesting to find out what was the turnout and how does that break down. I'm looking at any preliminary figures we're beginning to see. They suggest that a lot of post-count analysis is going to have to take place.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned Italy and Giorgia Meloni again, but perhaps increasingly a very hard person to politically pigeonhole, because she's the main pro-EU candidate in this election in Italy. However else you paint her, it's what's it called, the League, Matteo Salvini, who's the anti-EU party there,
and who's in partner in government. And the reality there again is, it's dangerous to just put a label on somebody, because Meloni has done astonishingly well. We have the situation where there are some difficulties for the Commission President van der Leyen, because she has to talk to her, and they seem like best friends. And then at the other hand, you've got Meloni and Le Pen, and they're trying to be best friends too. So there's a big bridge being built there. But the reality of it is, these three politicians are. I mean, if you think about it, they represent a fairly wide variety of political choices, and yet they also recognise the practicality of politics. You've got to sit down and talk with each other. It's.
Yeah, I mean, France you mentioned. I mean, there, it's a very clear choice in terms of Europe. I mean, Macron wants more Europe. He's actually said he wants to see the EU budget doubled. On the other hand, possibly it's fair to say Marine Le Pen's party, with this new young leader, Jordan Bardella, well, I suppose ultimately they're saying less Macron is what we need, and they're going to win almost certainly in France, I suggest, even though we've yet to see any figures.
It's kind of ironic that he is saying less Macron, because he's actually quite modelled on Macron, and he has a lot of charm, he has a lot of charisma, and Le Pen is very clever to put him in place for the election, because basically it meant that everybody was just talking about her. She's playing a good game though, and it is. I'm not sure how much taste there is for more Europe anywhere.
No.
And it's sad to say, but the reality of it is, those are going to be very intriguing results. As the evening comes on and we begin to get the figures for France and Germany, we're really going to know something about what's the shape of the next, not just Parliament, but the next Commission. And it will also determine, remember, the shape of the political policy priorities in the next Commission. The Greens, we're not getting enough figures to say where the Greens are going to be, but it looks like they're not going to be in a good place. It looks like Renew is when the general predictions don't look good for Renew, which makes me a little sad. I was vice president of ALDE, and I brought my party into ALDE, and that's very much where I will be anchored.
Let's just explain that for a moment for those perhaps don't follow every in and out of this. The Liberal grouping, traditionally known as ALDE, Macron's party came into it after the last election. Liberal is a bad word for a centre party in France. It means that you believe in right-wing economics. So it became Renew, but of course had this huge boost with then Macron's popularity. Now, as you suggest, almost certainly heading for a bit of a bad night, if only because of how badly Macron's likely to do.
It is. It points to the ups and downs of politics, you know. The reality of it is Macron hasn't changed, but the public taste has. He's still a very charming politician. I believe he's quite a striking politician, but the reality of it is I don't have a vote in France. Most of the French people don't have the common sense to agree with me, maybe. It's a bit unfair, but it is. It's intriguing. It's intriguing how, you know, one year you can be very much in fashion, and the next year you're the discarded. You're discarded. Politics is a tough trade.
Indeed it is. So on that note, we'll leave it for now, but back soon as we have any more news.